Former Finance Minister Barend Plessis says he understands that Finance Minister Godongwana is facing a very difficult situation where he has to do more with limited resources.
Mr. Godongwana's problems at this time is that he's facing a medium-term budget with a huge debt problem in South Africa, and with the problem of dysfunctional state-owned enterprises not yielding good services conducive to economic growth. We cannot tax the people anymore. We have no other alternative sources.
Plessis reiterated that in a prudent economic model, it is not the state's duty to create jobs. Currently, there are over 12 million people who are unemployed in the country. On the borrowing and the national debt, he said borrowing should be for the capital expenditure only. South Africa's debt to GDP is hovering around 80%, with a national debt of about 4 trillion rand.
Where the state undertook to provide all the jobs and so on, that's not an enduring solution. That was shown to us in the Soviet Union and Eastern Germany. It must be capital that you borrow. In other words, you must leave something enduring for posterity. Then you have the moral right to borrow money to do that, because they will in future pay the interest, but they will have the benefits.
Plessis says CODESA negotiations had no proper economic plans of how future inclusive economic structure should be.
I would have loved to see a much greater emphasis on the requirements for a future properly growing economy and distributing its yields evenly among the population, but concentrated on those who had the greatest need for it.
Meanwhile, Plessis admits that the apartheid's lack of access to quality education for black people is one of the causes of economic crisis facing many black people in the country.
The scars from those decades and centuries that black people did not get education into subjects that will equip them to participate in a modern economy, those scars will be with South Africa and many other developing countries for centuries to come.
Willemsen Mtiane, SABC News, Johannesburg.